I'm Lori Stevens from the Outreach Department of the Orem Public Library. We are so glad that you are joining us for the 13th annual Orem Reads. This year, we are reading Louisa May Alcott's beloved novel, Little Women. We hope you enjoy learning more about this great book and the incredible woman who authored it. For everything Orem Reads, please check out our website at oremreads.orem.org. Our Orem Reads events are part of the 22nd Annual Utah Humanities Book Festival. This annual free festival is the Utah Humanities gift to the community, allowing us to explore all sorts of ideas by interacting with great writers. Our thanks to the book festival's major sponsors, the George S. and Dolores Doré Eccles Foundation, Salt Lake City Arts Council, Salt Lake County Zoo Arts and Parks Fund, Summit County RAP, Weber County RAMP, the Charles Redd Center for Western Studies, the King's English Bookshop, Weller Bookworks, the National Endowment for the Humanities and the National Endowment for the Arts, Catalyst, and Slug Magazine. And now, Orem Reads. Tonight's program features the Grassroots Shakespeare Company. Grassroots is an Orem original, having been founded by 2 UVU students in the spring of 2009. 11 years later, this group continues to be a Utah Valley favorite. Grassroots Shakespeare is an original practice company, meaning that they produce the plays as they would have been done in Shakespeare's day, without a director, without a costumer, without special lighting, and they involve the audience in the production. Tonight they will be performing one of the March Girls' Pickwick Club's favorite plays, Shakespeare's classic Macbeth. So settle in your chair, dim the lights, and enjoy.
Welcome, everybody. We are the Grassroots Shakespeare Company. Before we get started, there's a few things that you should probably know. First things first, we are an original practice company.
Which means less of everything. We put this show together with next to no resources, no director, no designer. All the costumes you see were put together by the actors themselves. Minimal rehearsal time. We put this show together in less than a week, and unfortunately that was put on hiatus due to a global pandemic. But 5 months later, we got a 3.5-hour rehearsal and we're ready to do the show. And last but not least, like our Elizabethan predecessors, we rely heavily on the audience to use their imagination.
And that means we need an audience of Elizabethan proportions. In Shakespeare's day, over 3,000 wild and crazy spectators would go see Shakespeare shows in the globe. And to them, going to a theater event was like going to a rock concert, a sporting event, and a social outing all rolled into one. So on the count of 3, I want you to give me your best groundling cheer. Ready? 1, 2, 3!
I heard it from the camera. I heard it. They did it.
So if you see something you like, you can. And if you see something you don't like maybe a villain, yeah, you got it.
They're so good. So, without any further ado, Grassroots Shakespeare Company proudly presents the tragedy of Macbeth.
When shall we 3 meet again? In thunder, lightning, or in rain?
When the hurly-burly's done, when the battle's lost and won.
That will be ere the set of sun.
Where's the place?
Upon the heath.
There to meet Macbeth.
Fair is foul and foul is fair.
Hover through the fog and filthy air. The weird sisters hand in hand. Posters of the sea and land. Thus you go about, thrice to thine and thrice to mine and thrice again to make up 9. Peace, the charms wound up. A drum, Macbeth hath come.
So fair and foul a day I have not seen.
What are these? So withered and so wild in their attire that look not like inhabitants of the earth.
Speak, if you can. What are you?
All hail Macbeth! Hail to thee, Thane of Glamis!
All hail Macbeth! Hail to thee, Thane of Cawdor!
Hail Macbeth! Thou shalt be king thereafter.
Why do you start and seem to fear things that do sound so fair? My noble partner, you great with present grace and great prediction of noble having and of royal hope, that he seems rapt withal. To me, you speak not. If you can look into the seeds of time and see which strain will grow and which will not, speak then to me, who neither beg nor fear your favors, nor your hate.
Hail!
Hail! Hail!
Lesser than Macbeth and greater.
Not so happy, yet much happier.
Thou shalt get kings, though thou be none. So all hail, Macbeth and Banquo.
Banquo and Macbeth, all hail.
Stay, you imperfect speakers, tell me more. I know I am Thane of Glamis, but how of Cawdor? The Thane of Cawdor lives, a prosperous gentleman. Say from whence you owe this strange intelligence. Speak, I charge you!
The earth hath bubbles as the water has. These are of them. Whither are they vanished?
Into the air, and that which seemed corporeal melted as breath into the wind. Would they had stayed.
Were such things here as we do speak about? Or have we eaten on the insane root that takes the reason prisoner?
Oh, your children shall be kings!
You shall be king.
And Thane of Cawdor, too, went it not so?
To the self-same tune in words. See who's here!
The king hath happily received, Macbeth, word of thy success. Everyone does bear thy praises and pours them down before him. And in an earnest of a greater honor, he bade me call thee Thane of Cawdor. Hail, worthy Thane.
What? Can the devil speak true?
The Thane of Cawdor lives. Why do you dress me in borrowed robes?
Who was Thane lives, but under heavy judgment bears that life which he deserves to lose. His treason's capital, confess it and prove it, hath overthrown him.
Glamis and Thane of Cawdor. The greatest is behind. I thank you, gentlemen. Do you not hope your children shall be kings, when those that gave the Thane of Cawdor to me promised no less to them?
'Tis strange. Oftentimes, to win us to our harm, instruments of darkness tell us truths, win us with honest trifles to betray us in deepest consequence. Cousin, a word, I pray you.
I completely blanked on my line. Hey, Addison, what is it?
2 truths.
2 truths. Oh, really? I thought I had a thing before that. Well, poop. Okay, here we go. Cut that. Awesome. 2 truths are told as happy prologues to the swelling act of the imperial theme. I thank you, gentlemen. This supernatural soliciting cannot be ill, cannot be good. If ill, why have they given me earnest of success, commencing in a truth? I am Thane of Cawdor. If good, why do I yield to that suggestion whose horrid image does unfix my hair and make my seated heart knock at my ribs against the use of nature? If chance will have me king, why chance may crown me without my stir.
New horrors come upon him, like our strange garments. Cleave not to their mold, but with the aid of use.
Come what come may, time and the hour runs through the roughest day.
Worthy Macbeth, we stay upon your leisure.
Thanks, my most kind friends. My dull brain was wrought with things forgotten. Come, gentlemen, let us toward the king. Think on what has chanced, and the interim having waited, in the meantime, let us speak our free hearts, each to other.
Very gladly.
Very well.
Glamis, thou art, and Cawdor, and shalt be what thou art promised. Yet do I fear thy nature is too full of the milk of human kindness to catch the nearest way. Thou wouldst be great, art not without ambition. Hie thee hither, the king comes here tonight. Come, you spirits that tend on mortal thoughts, unsex me here, and fill me from the crown to the toe top full of direst cruelty. Come, thick nut, and pall thee in the dunnest smoke of hell, that my keen knife see not the wound it makes, nor heaven peek through the blanket of the dark to cry, hold, hold. great Glamis worthy Cawdor, greater than both by the all-hail hereafter. Thy letters have transported me beyond the ignorant present, and I feel now the future in the instant.
Gracious love, Duncan comes here tonight.
And when goes hence?
Tomorrow, as he purposes.
Never shall sun that morrow see. He that's coming must be provided for. Bear welcome in your hand, your eye, your tongue. Look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it. You shall leave this night's great business under my dispatch.
We will speak further.
Only look up clear. To alter favor ever is to fear. Leave all the rest to me.
See, here's our honored hostess.
All our service at every point twice done, and then done double. We're poor and single business to contend against those honors deep and broad wherewith your majesty loads our house. For those of old and the late dignities heaped up to them, we rest your hermits.
Where is the Thane of Cawdor? We coursed him at his heels and had purpose to be his purveyor. But he rides well, and his great love hath holpen him to his home before us. Noble hostess, give me your hand. We will be your guest tonight. Take us to our host. We love him highly.
If 'twere done when 'tis done, then 'twere well it were done quickly. But in these cases we still have judgment here, that we but teach bloody instructions which being taught return to plague the inventor. This even-handed justice commends the ingredients of a poisoned chalice to our own lips. He's here in double trust, first as his kinsman and his subject, both strong against the deed, then as his host, who should against his murderer shut the door, not bear the knife myself. Besides, this Duncan hath borne his faculties so meek, hath been so clear in his great office, that his virtues should plead like angels trumpet-tongued against the deep damnation of his taking off. I have no spur to prick the sides of my intent, but vaulting ambition, which o'erleaps itself and falls on the other. How now, what news?
He has almost supped. Why have you left the chamber?
Hath he asked for me?
No, you not, he has.
We shall proceed no further in this business. He hath honored me of late, and I have bought golden opinions from all sorts of people, which should be worn now in their newest gloss, not cast aside so soon.
Was the hope drunk wherein you dressed yourself? Hath it since slept, and wakes it now to look so green and pale at what it did so freely? Wouldst thou live a coward in thine own esteem, letting I dare not wait upon I would?
Prithee, peace! I dare do all that may become a man. Who dare do more is none.
What beast wast then that made you break this enterprise to me? When you durst do it, then you were a man. I have given suck, and know how tender 'tis to love the babe that milks me. I would, while it was smiling in my face, have plucked my nipple from his boneless gums and dashed the brains out, had I so sworn as you have done to this.
If we should fail?
We fail. But screw your courage to the sticking place, and will not fail. When Duncan is asleep, what cannot you and I perform upon him? What not put upon his spongy officers who shall bear the guilt of our great quell?
Will not be received when we have marked with blood the sleepy two of their own chamber, and used their very daggers that they had done.
Who dares receive it other? For we shall make our grief and clamor roar upon his death.
Enough. I am resolved, and bend up every corporal agent to this terrible feat. Away, and mock the time with fairest show. False face must hide what false heart doth know.
What, sir? Not yet at rest? The king's abed. He hath been an unusual pleasure, and sent forth great largesse to your office. A diamond he greets your wife withal by the name of most kind hostess.
Our will became the servant to defect, which being unprepared else should free have wrought.
All's well. I dreamt last night. of the three weird sisters? To you, they have shown some truth.
I think not of them. But if we could entreat an hour to serve, we would spend it in some words upon that business, if you would grant the time.
Oh, at your kind's leisure.
Good repose the while.
Thanks, sir. The like to you.
Go, bid thy mistress when my drink is ready, she strike upon the bell. Get thee to bed. Is this a dagger which I see before me? The handle toward my hand. Come, let me clutch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. Art thou, fatal vision, sensible to feeling as to sight? Or art thou but a dagger of the mind? A false creation proceeding from the heat oppressed brain. I see thee still! And on thy blade and dudgeon gouts of blood, which was not so before. There's no such thing. It is the bloody business which informs thus to mine eyes. Thou sure and firm set earth, hear not my steps which way they walk, for fear thy very stones should prate of my whereabout. I go, and it is done. The bell invites me. Hear it not, Duncan, for it is a knell that summons thee to heaven or to hell.
That which hath made them drunk hath made me bold. What hath quenched them hath given me fire. Hark! Peace. It was the owl that shrieked, the fatal bellman which gives the sternest good night. He is about it. The surfeited grooms do mock their charge with snores. I have drugged their pauses that death and nature do contend about them, whether they live or die.
Who's there? What ho!
Alack, I'm afraid they have awaked, and 'tis not done. The attempt, not the deed, confounds us. Hark, I laid their daggers ready. He could not miss them. Had he not resembled my father as he slept, I had done 't. My husband!
I have done the deed. Didst thou not hear a noise?
I heard the owl shriek and the cricket's cry. Did not you speak?
When?
Now.
As I descended.
Ah.
Hark, who lies in the second chamber?
Malcolm.
Oh, this is a sorry sight.
A foolish thought to say a sorry sight.
One cried, God bless us, and amen. The other, as they had seen me with these hangman's hands. Listening their fear, I could not say amen when they did say God bless us.
Consider it not so deeply.
But wherefore could I not pronounce amen? I had most need of blessing, and amen stuck in my throat.
These deeds must not be thought after these ways, so it will make us mad.
Methought I heard a voice cry, sleep no more, to all the house. Macbeth does murder sleep. The innocent sleep, sleep that knits up the raveled sleeve of care. The death of each day's life, sore labor's bath, great nature's second course, chief nourisher in life's feast.
What do you mean?
Still it cried, sleep no more to all the house. Glomus doth murder sleep, and therefore Cawdor shall sleep no more. Macbeth shall sleep no more.
Who was it that thus cried? My worthy Thane, you do unbend your noble strength to think so brain sickly of things. Go get some water, and wash this filthy witness from your hands. Why have you taken these daggers from the place? They must lie there. Go, carry them and smear the sleepy grooms with blood.
I'll go no more. I dare not think what I have done. Look out again, I dare not!
Infirm of purpose, give me the daggers. The dead and sleeping are but as pictures. 'Tis the eye of childhood that fears a painted devil. If he do bleed, I'll gild the faces of his grooms withal, for it must seem their guilt.
Whence is that knocking? Thou is't with me when every noise appalls me. What hands are here? Oh, they pluck out mine eyes! Oh, will not all great Neptune's ocean wash this blood free from my hand? No, this my hand will rather the multitudinous seas incarnadine, making the green one red.
My hands are of your color, but I shame to wear hearts so white. hear a knocking at the south entry. Retiring to our chamber. A little water clears us of this deed. How easy it is then that your constancy hath left you unattended. Hark! More knocking. Go. Get on your nightgown, lest occasion show us, and show us to be watchers. Be not lost so poorly in your thoughts.
To know my deed, 'twere best not to know myself. Wake Duncan with thy knocking! I would thou couldst!
Here's a knocking indeed. Anon, I pray you, remember the porter.
So late, friend, ere you went to bed, that you do lie so late?
Faith, sir, we were carousing till the second cock, and drink, sir, is a great provoker of 3 things.
Well, what 3 things does drink especially provoke?
Oh, marry, sir, nose painting, sleep, and urine. Lechery, sir, it provokes and unprovokes. It provokes the desire, but it takes away the performance. Therefore, much drink may be said to be an equivocator with lechery. It makes him, and it mars him. It sets him on, and it takes him off. It persuades him, and disheartens him, makes him stand to, and not stand to, and in conclusion, equivocates him in a sleep, and giving him the lie, leaves him.
I believe drink gave thee the lie last night.
That it did, sir, in the very throat on me, but I requited him for his lie, and I think, being too strong for him, though he take up my legs sometime, yet I made a shift to cast him.
Oh, our knocking has awakened him. Here he comes.
Good morrow, noble sir.
Good morrow, both.
Is the king stirring, worthy thane?
Not yet.
He did command me to call timely on him. I have almost slipped the hour.
I'll bring you to him. This is the door.
I'll make so bold to call, for 'tis my limited service.
Goes the king hence today?
He does. He did appoint so.
The night was unruly. Where we lay, the chimneys were blown down. Some say the earth was fervorous and did shake.
'Twas a rough night.
Oh, my young remembrance cannot parallel a fellow to it.
Horror! Horror! Tongue nor heart cannot conceive nor name thee.
What's the matter?
Confusion now hath made his masterpiece. Most sacrilegious murder hath broke ope the Lord's anointed temple and stole thence the life of the building.
What is you say, the life?
Means you his majesty?
Approach the chamber and destroy your sight with a new gorgon. Do not bid me speak. See, and then speak yourselves. Awake! Awake! Ring the alarm bell! Murder and treason! Banquo and Malcolm, awake! Shake off this downy sleep, death's counterfeit, and look on death itself. Up and see the great doom's image. Ring the bell!
What's the business that such a hideous trumpet calls to parley the sleepers of the house?
Oh, gentle lady, 'tis not for you to hear what I can speak. The repetition in a woman's ear would murder as it fell. Your royal master's murdered.
Woe! Alas, what in our house?
Had I but died an hour before this chance, I had lived a blessed time. For from this instant, there's nothing serious in mortality.
What's amiss?
You are, and do not know it. The spring, the head, the fountain of your blood is stopped. The very source of it is stopped.
Your royal father's murdered.
Oh, by whom?
Those of his chamber, as it seemed to have done. Their hands and faces were embadged with blood. So were their daggers, which unwiped we found upon their pillows.
Oh, now I do repent me of my fury that I did kill them.
Wherefore did you so?
Who can be wise, amazed, temperate, and furious, loyal, and neutral in a moment? There lay Duncan, his silver skin laced with his golden blood. There, the murderers, steeped in the colors of their trade, their daggers unmannerly breached with gore. Who could refrain, who had a heart to love, and in that heart, courage to make his love known?
Help me hence.
Look to the lady.
You go.
Why do I hold my tongue that most may claim this argument for mine? What should be spoken here where my fate hid in an auger hole, may rush and seize me. All away. My tears are not yet proved, nor my strong sorrow upon the foot of motion.
Let us meet, to question this most bloody piece of work, to know it further. Fears and scruples shake us. In the great hand of God I stand, and thence, against the undivulged pretense, I fight of treasonous malice.
Let us briefly put on manly readiness and meet in the hall together.
Well contented. I'll not consort with them. To show an unfelt sorrow is an office which the false man does easy. All to England. There's daggers in men's smiles, the near in blood, the nearer bloody.
Thou hast it now, King, Cawdor, Glamis, all, as the weird women promised. And I fear thou playedst most foully for it. If there come truth from them, well, as upon thee, Macbeth, their speeches shine. Why? Why by the verities on thee made good, may they not be my oracles as well, and set me up in hope? Oh, but hush, no more.
Here's our chief guest.
If he had been forgotten, it would be as a gap in our great feast, and all thing unbecoming.
Tonight we hold a solemn supper, sir, and I'll request your presence.
Let your royal highness command upon me, to the which my duties are with a most indissoluble tie forever knit.
Ride you this afternoon?
Aye, my good lord.
We had else desired your good advice in this day's council, which to this point hath been both grave and prosperous, but we'll take tomorrow. Is't far you ride?
As far, my lord, as will fill up the time twixt this and supper.
Fail not our feast.
My good lord, I will not.
We hear our bloody cousins are bestowed in England and in Ireland, not confessing their cruel parricide. Hie you to horse till you return again at night. Goes Fleance with you?
Aye, my good lord. Our time does call upon us.
I wish your horses swift and sure of foot, and so I do commend you to their backs. Farewell. Let every man be master of his time till 7 at night. To give society the sweeter welcome, we will ourselves till supper time alone. Whilst then, God be with you. To be thus is nothing, but to be safely thus. Our fears in Banquo stick deep. There is none but he whose being we do fear. He chid the sisters when first they put the name of king upon me, and bade them speak to him. Then prophet-like they hailed him father to a line of kings. Upon my head they placed a fruitless crown, and put a barren scepter in my gripe, thence to be wrenched by unlineal hand, no son of mine succeeding. If this be so, for Banquo's issue have I filed my mind. For them, the gracious Duncan, have I murdered, to make them kings, the seat of Banquo kings. Rather than so, come fate into the list, and champion me to the utmost. Who's there? Well now, have you considered my speeches?
I am one, your lord, whom the vile blows and buffets of the world have so incensed that I am reckless in what I do to spite the world.
And I another, so weary with disasters, tugged with fortune that I would set my lie on any chance to mend it or be rid on't.
Both of you know Banquo was your enemy.
True, my lord.
So is he mine, and at such bloody distance that every minute of his being thrusts against my nearest of life. And though I could, with barefaced power, sweep him from my sight and bid my will avouch it, yet I must not. For certain friends there are, both his and mine, whose loves I may not drop, but wail his fall, whom I myself struck down. And thus it is that I to your assistance do make love, masking the business from the common eye for sundry weighty reasons.
We shall, my lord, do as you command.
Though our lives
That your spirits shine through you. Within this hour at most, I will appoint you where to plant yourselves, acquaint you with the perfect spy of the time, the moment on't, for it must be done tonight. Leave no rubs nor botches in the work. Fleance, his son, that keeps him company, whose absence is no less material to me than is his father's, must embrace the fate of that dark hour. Resolve yourselves apart. I'll come to you anon.
We are resolved, my lord.
I'll call upon you straight, abide within. It is concluded. Banquo, thy soul's flight, if it find heaven, must find it out tonight.
Naught had, all spent, where our desire is got without content. 'Tis safer to be that which we destroy than by destruction dwell in doubtful joy. How now, my lord? Why do you keep alone of sorriest fancies your companions making, using those thoughts which should indeed have died with them they think on? Things without all remedy should be without regard. What's done is done. Is Banquo gone from court?
Aye, madam, but returns again tonight. We've scotched the snake, not killed it. We'll eat our meal in fear and sleep in the terrible affliction of these dreams that shake us nightly. Better be with the dead, whom we, to gain our peace, have sent to peace, than on the torture of the mind to lie in restless ecstasy. Duncan is in his grave. After life's fitful fever sleeps he well. Treason has done his worst. Not steel, nor poison, malice domestic, foreign levy, nothing can touch him further.
Come on. Gentle, my lord. Sleek o'er your rugged looks. Be bright and jovial among your guests tonight.
So shall I, love. And so I pray be you. Let your remembrance apply to Banquo. Greet him with eminence, both with eye and tongue. Unsafe the while that we must lave our honors in these flattering streams, making our faces vizards to our hearts, disguising what they are.
You must leave this.
Oh, full of scorpions is my mind, dear wife. Thou knowest that Banquo and his fleance live.
But in them nature's copy not etern.
There's comfort yet. They are assailable. Then be thou jocund, for there shall be done a deed of dreadful note.
What's to be done?
Oh, be innocent of the knowledge, dearest Chuck, till thou applaud the deed. Come, sealing night, and scarf up the tender eye of pitiful day. And with thy bloody and invisible hand cancel and tear to pieces that great bond which keeps me pale. Light thickens, and the crow makes wing to the rooky wood. Good things of day begin to droop and drowse, while night's black agents to their praise do rouse. Thou marvelest at my words, but hold thee still. Things bad begun make strong themselves by ill.
The west yet glimmers with some streaks of day, now spurs the lated traveler apace to gain the timely inn, and near approaches the subject of our watch.
Oh, hark, I hear horses!
Give us a light there, ho!
Oh, then 'tis he! A light! A light!
'Tis he, stand to it.
It will be rain tonight.
Let it come down.
Fly, good fleance! Fly! Fly! Thou mayst revenge! Slave!
Who put out the light?
What's not the way?
Oh, there is but one down! Oh, the sun is fled! Best half our affair lost!
Well, let's away and say how much is done.
How sayest thou that Macduff denies his person at our great bidding?
Did you send to him, sir?
I hear it by the way, but I will send. There's not a one but in his house I keep a servant feed. Sit down! At first and last the hearty welcome!
Thanks to your majesty.
Ourself will mingle with society and play the humble host. Our hostess keeps her state, but in best time we will require her welcome.
Pronounce it for me, sir, to all our friends, for my heart speaks they are welcome.
Let them encounter thee with their hearts' thanks. Both sides are even. I'll sit here in the midst. Be large in mirth. Anon we'll drink a measure, the table round. There's blood on thy face.
'Tis Banquo's then.
'Tis better thee without than he within. Is he dispatched?
My lord, his throat is cut, that I did for him.
Thou art the best of the cutthroats. Yet he's good that did the like for Fleance. If thou didst it, thou art the nonpareil.
Most royal sir, Fleance is scaped.
Then comes my fit again. It else been perfect, whole as the marble, founded as the rock, but now am I cabined, cribbed, confined, bound into saucy doubts and fears. But Banquo's safe.
Aye, my lord, safe in a ditch he bides, with 20 trenched gashes on his head, the least a death to nature.
Thanks for that. There the grown serpent lies. The worm that's fled hath nature that in time will venom breed. No teeth for the present. Get thee away. Tomorrow we'll hear ourselves again.
My royal lord, you do not give the cheer.
Sweet remembrance, sir. And now good digestion wait on appetite and health on both.
Oh, may it please your highness, sit.
Here we have now our country's honor roofed were the graced person of our Banquo present, whom I may rather challenge for unkindness than pity for mischance.
His absence lays blame upon his promise. May it please your highness to grace us with your royal company.
The table's full.
Here is a place reserved, sir.
Where?
Here, my good lord. What is that moves you?
Which of you have done this? Thou canst not say I did it! Never shake thy gory locks at me!
Gentlemen, rise. His highness is not well.
Sit, worthy friends. My lord is often thus, and hath been from his youth. Pray you keep seat. Upon a thought he will again be well. If much you note him, you will offend him and extend his passion. Feed and regard him not. Are you a man?
Aye, and a bold one, that dare look on that which may appall the devil!
This is the air-drawn dagger, which you said led you to Duncan. This is the very painting of your fear.
Look, behold! How say you? What look low? Why, what care I if thou canst nod, speak too? If charnel houses and our graves must send those that we bury back, our monument shall be the moss of kites!
What? Quite unmanned in folly.
As I stand here, I saw him.
Fie, for shame.
The times had been that when the brains were out, the man would die, and there an end. But now they rise again and push us from our stools.
My royal lord, your noble friends do lack you.
I do forget. Do not muse at me, my most kind friends. I have a strange infirmity which is nothing to those that know me. Come, love and health to all, and to our dear friend Banquo, whom we miss. Would he were here. To all and him we thirst, and all to all.
Our duties and the pledge.
Avaunt! And quit my sight! Let the earth hide thee! Thy bones are marrowless, thy blood is cold, thou hast no speculation in those eyes which thou dost glare with!
Think of this, good peers, but as a thing of custom. 'Tis no other, only it spoils the pleasure of our time.
Approach thou like the rugged Russian bear, the armed rhinoceros, or the Hircan tiger, and my firm nerves shall never tremble. Or be alive again, and dare me to the desert with thy sword. If trembling I inhabit then, why protest me the baby of a girl? Hence, horrible shadow! Unreal mockery, hence! Why, so being gone, I am a man again. Pray you sit still.
You have displaced the mirth, broke the good meeting with most admired disorder.
Can such things be? Such sights, and overcome us like a summer's cloud without our special wonder?
What sights, my lord?
Pray you, speak not. He grows worse and worse. Question enrages him. At once, good night. Stand not upon the order of your going, but go at once.
Good night. May better health attend his majesty.
A kind good night to all.
I will tomorrow to the weird sisters. More shall they speak. For now I am bent to know by the worst means the worst. For mine own good, all causes shall give way. I am in blood, Stepped in so far that were I to wade no more, returning were as tedious as go o'er. Strange things I have in head, that will to hand, which must be acted ere they may be scanned.
Thrice the branded cat hath mewed.
Thrice and once the hedge beat whines.
The harpier cries, 'tis time, 'tis time!
Round about the cauldron go, in the poisoned entrails throw. Toad that under cold stone days and nights as 31. Slaughtered venom sleeping gut, boiled out first in the charmed pot.
Double, double, toil and trouble, fire, burn, and cauldron bubble!
Flit of a fenny snake, in the cauldron boil and bake. Eye of newt and toe of frog, wool of bat and tongue of dog. Adder's fork and blindward sting, lizard's leg and owlet's wing. For a charm of powerful trouble, like a hell broth boil and bubble.
Double, double, toil and trouble, fire, burn, and cauldron bubble!
By the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes.
Open, fox, whoever knocks!
How now, you secret black and midnight hags, what is't you do?
A deed without a name!
I conjure you by that which you profess. Howe'er thou come to know it, answer me to what I ask you.
Speak!
Demand!
We'll answer.
Pouring sow's blood that hath eaten her 9 pharaoh grease that's sweating. On the murder's gibbet throw into the flame.
Come high or low, thyself and office deftly show!
Tell me, thou unknown power.
She knows thy thought. Hear her speak, but say thou not.
Macbeth! 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 Beware, Macduff! Beware the Thane of Fife! Dismiss me! Enough!
Whate'er thou art, for thy good caution, thanks. Thou hast harped my fear aright, but one word more.
We will not be commanded. Here's a second more potent than the first.
Macbeth! Macbeth! Macbeth!
Had I 3 ears, I'd hear thee.
Be bloody, bold, and resolute. Laugh to scorn the power of man. None of woman born shall harm Macbeth.
Then live, Macduff. What need I fear of thee? But yet I'll make assurance double sure, and take a bond of fate. Thou shalt not live, that I may tell pale-hearted fear it lies and sleep in spite of thunder. But what is this that rises like the issue of a king, and wears upon its baby brow the round and top of sovereignty?
Listen, but speak not to it.
Macbeth shall never vanquished be until great Burnham Wood to high Dunsinane Hill shall come against him.
Well, that can never be. For who can impress the forest, bid the tree unfix his earthbound root? Sweet Boatman's good. Yet my heart drops to know one thing more. Tell me, if your art can tell so much, shall Banquo's issue ever reign in this kingdom?
Seek to know no more!
I will be satisfied. Deny me this, and an eternal curse fall on you. Let me know.
Show his eyes and grieve his heart. Come like shadows, so depart.
Thou art too like the spirit of Banquo. Down! Thy crown doth sear mine eyeballs. Oh, horrible sight, now I know 'tis true. For the blood-boltered Banquo smiles upon me. What, is this so?
Aye, sir. Oh, this is so. But why stands Macbeth thus amazedly? Come, sisters, cheer we up his sprite and show the best of our delights. I'll charm the air to make a sound while you perform your antic round, that this great king may kindly say, our duties did his welcome pay.
Where are they? Gone. Let this pernicious hour stand I accursed in the calendar. Come in without there.
What is it, your majesty?
Saw you the weird sisters?
No, my lord.
Came they not by you?
No, indeed, my lord.
Infected be the air whereon they ride, and damned be those that trust them. I heard the galloping of a horse. Who was came by?
Is 2 or 3, my lord, who come to inform you. Macduff has fled to England.
Fled to England?
Aye, my lord.
Time, thou anticipatedst my dread exploits. The castle of Macduff I will surprise, seize upon Fife, give to the edge of the sword his wife, his babes, and all unfortunate souls that trace him in his line. No boasting like a fool, this deed I'll do before the purpose cool.
What had he done to make him fly the land?
You must be patient, madam.
Patient? He had none. His flight was madness. When our actions do not, our fears do make us traitors.
You know not whether it was his fear or his wisdom.
Oh, wisdom! To leave his wife, to leave his babes, his mansion, and his titles in a place from whence himself does fly. He loves us not.
My dearest coz, I pray you, school yourself. But for your husband, he is noble, wise, judicious, and best knows the fits of the season. I dare not speak much further, but cruel are the times when we are traitors and know not ourselves, when we hold rumor from fear, but know not what we fear, but are afloat, on a violent sea, each way and move. I take my leave of you. It will not be long before I am here again. My pretty cousin, blessing upon you.
Fathered he is, and yet he's fatherless.
I am so much a fool. Should I stay any longer, it would be my disgrace and your discomfort. I must take my leave at once.
Sirrah, your father's dead. What will you do now? How will you live?
As birds do, Mother.
What, with worms and flies?
With what I get, I mean, and so do they.
Poor bird, thou'dst never fear the net nor lime, the pitfall nor the gin.
Well, why should I, Mother? Poor birds, they are not set for. My father is not dead for all you're saying.
Yes, he is dead. How wilt thou do for a father?
Nay, how will you do for a husband?
Why, I can buy me 20 at any market.
Then you'll buy him to sell again.
Poor prattler, thou speak with all thy wit, and yet a faith with wit enough for thee.
Was my father a traitor, Mother?
Aye, that he was.
What is a traitor?
Why, one that swears and lies.
And be all traitors that do so.
Every one that does so is a traitor, and must be hanged.
And must they all be hanged that swear and lie?
Every one.
Who must hang them?
Why the honest men.
Then the liars and swearers are fools. For there are liars and swearers enough to beat the honest men and hang up them.
God help thee, poor monkey. But how wilt thou do for a father?
If he were dead, thou wouldst weep for him. If you would not, it were a good sign I should quickly have a new mother.
Poor prattler, how thou talkst.
Oh, most noble dame, no doubt but some danger does approach nearly. Be not bound here hence with your little one. Oh, heaven preserve you, I dare not abide longer.
Whither should I fly? I have done no harm. What are these faces?
Where is your husband?
I hope in no place so unsanctified where such as thou mayst find him.
He's a traitor!
Thou liest, thou shag-haired villain!
What, you egg? Young fry of treachery!
Let us seek out some desolate shade, and there weep our sad bosoms empty.
Let us rather hold fast the mortal sword like good men and bestride our downfall and birthdom. Oh, see who comes here.
My countryman, but yet I know him not.
My ever gentle cousin. Welcome hither.
Ah, I know him now. Good God, betimes remove the means that makes us strangers.
Sir, amen.
Stands Scotland where it did?
Alas, a poor country. It cannot be said to be our mother, but our grave, where nothing but who knows nothing is once seen to smile, where sighs and groans and shrieks are made, not marked, where violent sorrow seems a modern ecstasy.
Oh, relation, too nice yet too true.
What's the newest grief?
That of an hour's age doth hiss the speaker, that each minute teems a new one.
How does my wife?
Why, well.
And all my children?
well too.
The tyrant has not battered at their peace?
No, they were well at peace when I did leave them.
But not withholding of your speech. How goest?
Now is the time of help in Scotland. Your eye would create soldiers. Make our women fight to doff off their dire distresses.
Be it their comfort, we are coming thither. Gracious England hath lent us good steward and 10,000 soldiers. An older and better soldier none than Christendom gives out.
Oh, would I could answer this news with the like. But I have words that would be howled out to the desert air where hearing may not latch them.
I guess at it. What concern they? The general cause, or is it a fee grief due to some single breast?
No heart but that is honest in it shares some woe. But the main share is yours alone.
If it be mine, keep it not from me. Quickly, let me have it.
Your castle is surprised. Your wife and babes savagely slaughtered to share the meaning of it, to add the death of you.
Merciful heaven, what man, ne'er pull your hat upon your brows. Give sorrow words. The grief that does not speak whispers the o'erfraught heart and bids it break.
All my children, all.
Your wife, babes, servants, all that could be found.
And I must be from thence. My wife!
I have
my wife too.
said.
Be comforted. Let us make medicines of our great revenge to cure this deadly grief.
He has no children! All my pretty ones, did you say all? Oh, Hellkite! Oh, what? All my pretty chickens and their dam in one fell swoop?
Dispute it like a man.
I shall do so, but I must also feel it as a man. I cannot but remember such things were that were most precious to me. Did heaven look on and would not take their part? Sinful Macduff, they were all struck for thee, not that I am, not for their own demerits, but for mine fell slaughter on their souls.
Be this the
Heaven rest them now.
Be this the whetstone of your sword. Let grief convert to anger. Blunt not the heart. Enrage it.
I could play the woman with mine eyes, and braggart with my tongue. But gentle heavens, cut short all intermission. Front to front, bring thou this fiend of Scotland and myself. Within my sword's length set him. If he escape, heaven forgive him too.
This tune goes manly. Come, go we to the king. Our powers are ready. Macbeth is ripe for shaking, and our lack is nothing but our leave. The powers above do put on their instruments. Receive what cheer you may. The night is long that never finds the day.
I have 2 nights watched with you, but can perceive no truth in your report. When was it last she walked with you?
Since his majesty went into the field, I have seen her rise from her bed, go to her closet, unlock it, take forth paper, fold it, write upon it, read it, afterwards seal it, and again return to bed. Yet all this while in a most fast sleep.
In this slumbery agitation, besides her walking and other actual performances, what at any time have you heard her say?
Oh, that which I would not report after her.
You may to me, and 'tis most meet you should.
Neither to you, nor to anyone, having no witnesses to confirm my speech. Oh, lo you, here she comes. This is her very guise, and upon my life fast asleep. Observe her, stand close.
You see, her eyes are open.
Aye, but their sense is shut.
What is it she does now? Look how she rubs her hands.
It is an accustomed action with her to be seen thus washing her hands. I have known her to continue in this for a quarter of an hour.
Yet, here's a spot.
Hark, she speaks. I will set down what comes from her, to satisfy my remembrance the more strongly.
Out, damn spot. Out, I say! 1, 2. Why then, 'tis time to do it. Hell is murky. Fie, my lord, fie! A soldier and a beard! What need we fear who knows it, but none can call our power to account? Yet who would have thought the old man would have had so much blood in him?
Go to, go to. You have known what you should not.
She has spoken what she should not, I am sure of that. Heaven knows what she has known.
The Thane of Fife had a wife. Where is she now? What? Will these hands ne'er be clean? No more of that, my lord, no more of that. You mar all with this starting.
Do you mark that?
All the perfumes of Arabia could not sweeten this little hand. Oh, oh, oh!
What a sigh is here. The heart is sorely charged.
I would not have such a heart in my bosom for the dignity of the whole body.
Well.
Pray God and me, sir.
This disease is beyond my practice. Yet I have known those which have walked in their sleep, who've died holily in their beds.
Wash your hands. Put on your nightgown. Look, not so pale. I tell you yet again, Banquo's buried. He cannot come out on's grave.
Even so?
To bed. To bed. There's knocking at the gate. Come, give me your hand. To bed. To bed. To bed.
Will she now go to bed?
Directly.
Unnatural deeds do breed unnatural troubles. Infected minds to their deaf pillows discharge their secrets. More needs she the divine than the physician. God forgive us all. Look after her. Remove from her the means of all annoyance, and still keep eyes on her. So good night. My mind she has made it, and amazed my sight. I think, but dare not speak.
Good night, good doctor.
Bring me no more reports, let them fly all, till Burnham would remove to Dunsinane. I cannot taint with fear. What's the boy Malcolm? Was he not born of woman? The spirits that know all mortal consequences have pronounced me thus: fear not, Macbeth, for no man of woman born shall e'er have power upon thee. Then fly, false thanes, and mingle with the English epicures. The mind I sway by, and the heart I bear, can never sag with doubt, nor shake with fear. The devil damn thee black, thou cream-faced loon! Whence got thou that goose look?
There is 10,000
Geese, villain,
soldiers, sir.
What soldiers, Wayface?
The English force, so please you.
I'll fight till from my bones my flesh be hacked. Give me mine armor. Give me mine armor.
'Tis not needed yet.
I'll put it on. Send out more horses. Skirt the country round. Hang those that talk of fear. Give me mine armor. How does your patient, doctor?
Oh, she is not so sick, my lord, as she is troubled with thick-coming fancies that keep her from her rest.
Cure her of that. Canst thou not minister to a mind diseased? Pluck out the rooted sorrow from the heart, raise the written troubles of the brain, and with some sweet oblivious antidote, cleanse the stuffed bosom of that perilous stuff that weighs upon the heart?
Therein the patient must minister to himself.
Throw physic to the dogs! I'll none of it. Give me mine armor. Where's my staff? Come, if thou canst, doctor, find her disease and purge it to a sound and pristine health, I should applaud thee to the very echo that should applaud again. Pull it off, I say!
My good lord, your royal preparation makes us hear something.
Bring it after me. We will not be afraid of death and bane till Burnham Forest come to Dunsinane.
Were I from Dunsinane, away and clear, profit again should hardly draw me here.
Cousins, I hope the days are near at hand. The chambers will be safe.
We doubted nothing.
What is this wood before us?
The wood of Burnham.
Let every soldier hew him down a bough and bear it before him. Thereby shall we shadow the number of our host and make discovery ere in report of us.
It shall be done.
we learn none but this, that the tyrant sits still in Dunsinane and will endure our setting down before it.
'Tis his main hope. Where there is advantage to be given, both more and less have given him the revolt, and none serve with him, but constrained things whose hearts are absent too.
The time swiftly approaches that with due decision will make us know what we say we have and what we owe. Speculative thoughts their unsure hopes relate, but certain issue strokes must arbitrate towards which advance the war.
Hang all our banners on the outward walls. Our castle's strength will laugh a siege to scorn. Here let them lie, till famine and the ague eat them up. Were they not forced with those that should be ours, we should have met them dareful, beard to beard, and beat them backward home. Wherefore was that cry?
It was the cry of women, my lord.
The times had been, my senses would have cooled to hear a night shriek. I have supped full well with horrors. Direness, familiar to my slaughterous thoughts, cannot once start me. Wherefore was that cry?
The queen, my lord, is dead.
She should have died hereafter. There would have been time enough for such a word. Tomorrow. And tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day, till the last syllable of recorded time. And all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out. Out, brief candle. Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Thou comest to use thy tongue, thy story quickly.
I should report that which I say I saw, but I know not how to do it.
Well, say, sir.
As I stood my watch upon the hill, I looked toward the wood, and anon, methought, I saw the wood move.
Liar and slave!
Let me endure your wrath if it be not so. You can see it within a mile. I say, a moving grove.
Fear not till Burnham Forest come to Dunsinane, and now a wood comes to Dunsinane. Arm and out! Oh, I begin to be a-weary of the sun, and wish the estate of the world were now undone. Ring the alarum bell, blow wind, come, rack! At least we'll die with harness on our back!
Now near enough. Your leafy screens throw down and show like those you are. You, worthy uncle, shall with my cousin, your right noble son, lead our first battle. Worthy Macduff and we will take upon us what else remains to do, according to our order.
Should we find the tyrant's power tonight, let us be beaten if we cannot fight.
Give all our trumpets breath. Make all our trumpets breathe. Give them all breath. Those clamorous harbingers of blood and death!
They've tied me to a stake, I cannot fly, but bear-like I must fight the course. What's he that was not born of woman? Such a one am I to fear, or none?
What is thy name?
Thou'lt be afraid to hear it.
No, though thou call'st thyself a hotter name than any is in hell.
My name's Macbeth.
The devil himself could not pronounce a title more hateful to mine ear.
No, nor more fearful.
Thou liest, abhorred tyrant. With my sword, I'll prove the lie thou speakst.
Thou wast born of woman. But swords I smile at, weapons laugh to scorn when brandished by one that's of woman born.
That way the noises. Tyrant! Show thy face! If thou be'st slain and with no stroke of mine, my wife and children's ghosts will haunt me still. Either thou, Macbeth, or else my sword, with an unbattered edge, I sheathe again undeeded. Let me find him fortune, and more I beg not.
This way, my lord, the castle's gently rendered. The tyrant's men on both sides do fight, and the noble thanes do well in the war. The day itself declares it yours, and little is to do.
We have met with foes that strike beside us.
Enter, my lord, the castle.
Why should I play the Roman fool and die on mine own sword, whilst I see lives the gashes do better upon them?
Turn, hellhound! Turn!
Of all men else I have avoided thee, but get thee back. My soul is too much charged with blood of thine already.
My voice is in my sword. Thou bloodier villain than terms can give thee out!
Thou losest labor! Thou mayest as well the entrenchant air with thy keen sword impress as make me bleed. Let fall thy blade on vulnerable crests, for I bear a charmed life, which must not yield to one of woman born.
Despair thy charm, and let the angel whom thou still hast served tell thee, Macduff was from his mother's womb untimely ripped.
Accursed be the tongue that tells me this, for it hath cowed my better part of man. And damned be these juggling fiends that palter with us in a double sense, that give the word of promise to our ear, but break it to our hope. I will not fight with thee.
Then yield thee, coward! And live to be the show and gaze of the time. We'll have thee as our rarer monsters are. Painted on a pole and underwrit, here may you see the tyrant.
I will not yield. To kiss the ground beneath young Malcolm's feet, and to be baited with the rabble's curse, though Burnham would be come to Dunsinane, and thou opposed, being of no woman born, yet I will try the last. Lay on, Macduff, and damned be he that first cries, hold, enough!
I would the friends we missed were safe arrived.
Some must go off, and yet by these I see, so great a day is cheaply bought.
Worthy Macduff is missing, and your noble son.
Your son, my lord, has paid a soldier's debt. He only lived but till he was a man, but as a man, he died.
So God be with him. Here comes some newer comfort.
Hail, King, for so thou art. Behold where stands the usurper's cursed head. The time is free. I see thee compassed with thy kingdom's pearl that speak my salutation in their minds, whose voices I desire aloud with mine. Hail, King of Scotland!
Hail, King of Scotland!
We shall not spend a large, expensive time before we reckon with your several loves and make us even with you. What else remains to do, which would be planted newly with the time, as calling home our exiled friends abroad that fled the snares of watchful tyranny, producing forth the cruel ministers of that dead butcher and his fiend-like queen, who, as 'tis thought, by self and violent hands took off her life. This, and what needful else that calls upon us, by the grace of grace we will perform in measure, time, and place. Thanks to all at once, and to each one, whom we invite to see us crowned at Scone.
5, 6, 7, 8. All right. Hey! Our musicians, you can't see them, but they're great.
We are the Grassroots Shakespeare Company!
Yeah! Big thank you to the Orem Library, as well as the Orem Care Grant that has enabled us to actually perform this show that we just performed once 5 months ago!
This is the second time.
Yeah! So everyone, stay safe. Don't do dumb things. Respect each other. And, happy whatever month this is going to be posted in. October, happy Halloween!
Happy Halloween!
Eventually, probably. Yay, we're Grassroots. You should all like us on Facebook!
And our Instagram. Our Instagram's pretty good.
We do have a good Instagram.
The gram is good.
The end.
Good night. Okay, let's